Good day, poker peeps. This is Sky with Smart Poker Study, and I have something awesome to share with you. I just had a run of 4 incredible hands where I got dealt the best cards and I hit the best flops 4 hands in a row. But it's not just about the hands that I hit on the flops. It's the choices that I made, the bet sizing that I made that really earned me a ton of money in just the first 4 hands of this table. So let's go over the action right here. This is the first of 4 hands. So you can see it's a heads up table. I'm sorry, we're playing heads up. It's a 6 max table. We've played 3 hands so far. I V-pipped 1 out of 1. I just raised once, but he's been folding every single one of his blinds. He's V-pipping 0 out of 3 hands. So he's just been doing a lot of folding. In this hand right here, the 4th hand at the table with me and him, I open raise to 2 big blinds and he calls. Now, a critical idea is other players sit at the table while this is happening. So keep that in mind for the very next hand, right? But he calls me right here. Flop comes down 5, 6, 7. I hit top set. A very wet board, right? He ends up checking to me. And I noodled on my bet size. Do I just want to make it 2, 3, 4 big blinds? Or do I want to do something that's really going to potentially earn me a lot of value on kind of a wet board? He could have 6, 8, 5, 8 suited, pocket 8s, ace 7, king 7, things that are not going to fold right now and have some equity in the hand still. Even though I have top set, there's plenty of stuff. Couple of spades, king 10 of spades, has equity against me. So I decide to make it 7 big blinds. Now, remember that size for the next hand. I make it 7, and he ends up folding. Kind of a bummer for me. I wanted maximum value, didn't get much at all, but that 7 big blinds kind of could have tilted him. Oh, here's a key thing. He actually showed me, let's look up here, show known hole cards. He showed me, he folded and then showed 10-5 after timing down for like 20 seconds. Like he really thought about calling with the 10-5. I love the fact that he showed me this because that automatically told me this guy might be angry that he folded a pair. He timed down, folded, and showed he might be going on tilt. That's a key idea right here. And that's one of the reasons why I tell all of my students, never show your hand. Doesn't matter what you have. If you fold, just fold. Hit that auto muck setting in your poker software. Never show them because the fact that he showed me this hand, like I said, told me he might be tilting, he might be angry, and then watch what happens because of that. Or watch what I do because of that information. So the very next hand here, I get dealt pocket aces, loving that. Now, remember, while I was in the hand with this player, villain 49, as we can see, it's the same villain from the prior hand. Villains 52, 50, and 51 came in and they saw that 7 big blind bet. They all saw that, right? So watch what happens. Oh, small blind, big blind. They both posted their big blind. So automatically, when players post a blind, I assign them, or I think of them as fish, right? Especially a short stacked blind poster under the gun, total fish right here. But even 100 big blinds, posting a total fish as well. So he checks, check, and I make it 7. So I purposefully size it now to 7, trying to capitalize on that prior hand, making it 7. They all saw I bet big and he folded. So they don't know what I had, but in their mind, I'm playing on the idea that in their mind, my 7 big blinds equals bluff. So remember that. Fold. Ah, a brand new player to the table. Raises to 19 big blinds. Loving this right here, right? I have a few options. I can fold. No way I'm folding pocket aces, right? I can just call and slow play the flop in position with my pocket aces against a player who possibly thinks I'm bluffing. Or I can come over the top with a nice sized 4-bet. And this is what I mostly do 99% of the time. In micro stakes, I do not slow play aces, kings, queens. I do not do that. They're the best hands. My players are willing to get it in with worse. So I want him to have the opportunity to get it in with worse. If I bet 40 right now, maybe he could think I could fold if he shoves fold my hand to save my 63 big blinds. I'm hoping he does that, right? But he folds. Now, remember, once again, 7 big blinds, he folded. I made it 7 big blinds on this hand, and now 40, and he folded. So 7 and 40 are the key numbers to remember. So let's move on to the next hand right here. The very next one, I'm dealt King Jack suited, a new player to the table, Also posts a big blind, another fish starting with 80 big blinds. I'm loving this right now. I'm surrounded by fish. So I make it 4 big blinds because of the posted blind, kind of treat it like a limper, right? He folds. Villain 49, the guy that I initially bluffed at 7 big blinds. In his mind, I bluffed for 7 big blinds. He doesn't know I had a strong hand. But he could be angry. Remember, he's the one that showed the 10-5. Fold, fold. Hit that king on the flop. Loving the spot right here. Top pair, decent kicker. So what do? I check. Now remember, I'm hoping he's tilting. I'm thinking it's potential that there is potential that he's angry. He'll be throwing some bets, throwing some bluffs, all that kind of stuff. He makes it 5 big blinds right here. So what do? What size do you think I make it? Yeah, I blow him out of the water with 40. He doesn't know what to make of this. He is probably upset. He saw me make it 7. Everybody folded. He saw me make it 7. Everybody folded my 40. I'm making it 40. It's like I have a weird need to bluff at 7 and 40 big blinds. From his perspective, that's what I'm thinking right here. Look what happens. He calls right here. Making that flop 90. I only have 81. He only has 50 run right here. At this point, so if we think back to this prior board, he called 35 more big blinds on the king high board right here. After calling, that deuce is not going to scare him off. If he called with pocket pair of 10s, queen jack, king 10, any hand that I beat, the deuce is not going to scare him. So what do? I just shove, make myself look super bluffy. As far as he's concerned, so far, I'm a super aggro maniac. I'm playing every single hand, right? And I'm getting very aggressive right here, right? He ends up calling at this point. The 4 of spades comes on the river, and then he shows 10-9 offsuit. He called all in with an under gut shot because of his anger. He should have never showed me that 10-5 offsuit or 10-5 suited in the first place on that prior hand. But look at that. I won a huge stack utilizing what happened in prior hands and the potential anger I felt from him. You know, I'm playing online. I don't know that he's angry, but like I said, all the signs point to anger. I'm exploiting that potential anger. Let's look at the last hand right here. He sits out, or he might have just left the hand, I don't remember. But remember, that those prior hands, they saw me bet 7, I bet 40. Let's watch this hand. Open raise to just 3. I guess I could have made it 7, right? But I made it just 3. We get a call. Oh, and another call. My guess is these guys, they want to fight back against me. They saw me win a big pot. They want some of those chips, potentially. He saw all that prior action too, so he might be realizing that this guy is an aggro maniac. If I hit anything, I can double up through him. Jack for jack. I'm not scared of this flop at all. I've got the backdoor nut flush draw on a paired board, but really, I've got the overpair of aces. If one of them happens to have a jack, so be it. But at this point in my mind, I'm going to value town. That's what I am centered on. That's ultimately what I'm concerned with. I want value. Now, you can probably hear from my voice, I'm excited. Like, this was an awesome run of 4 hands. So I check. Once again, check raising opportunity. He checks. Oh, he bets less than half pot. So what do? What size do you think I make it? Once again, I make it 40, right? I'm trying to... If he was really thinking through these decisions, I made it 40 before, totally for value with that king jack. He should probably realize I have a value hand once again. But I'm thinking with the way I played it on the prior hands, he's just not going to take any of my guff. I'm super active, super aggressive. He's not going to take this at all, right? So he folds, and then he shoves. Of course I call. He might have a jack. So be it if I lose to a jack. But I think he could do this with worse than a jack, right? 8, a king comes, and then of course he shows pocket deuces. This was, let me tell you, this was the best run of cards, and I have never been more proud of my bet sizing choices as well as my player reads and my image reads at the table. I was utilizing everything against my opponent in these 4 hands. And let's look at PokerTracker 4 right here. You can see these hands happened right in a row, 1 minute after another, 1:11, 1:12, 13, 14 p.m., and I won a ton of dough, up 2 buy-ins in just, almost 2 buy-ins in just 4 hands right here. Loving this spot. So I wanted to show you this video. I guess number one, to brag, to brag about my results right here, but to show you also that it really does pay to pay attention at the table. Think about your bet sizing, think about what happened on prior hands, and utilize that information to try to extract as much value as you can from your opponents. The same kind of thinking can also work to earn you pots and bluff people off. Let's imagine in the very first hand, my pocket sevens, the other players at the table, they saw the 7 big blind bet over pot, but 7 big blinds, and they saw we got to showdown and I had pocket sevens and I win the pot. I could potentially use that 7 big blinds on future flops to bluff them off, right? When I have absolutely nothing on the next board. Let's imagine I don't have pocket aces. Let's say I have something, whoops, let's go to when we see a flop. So let's imagine I don't have the king queen. Let's imagine I have pocket sixes, right? If this player saw me bluff, or I'm sorry, saw me win on a prior hand with 7 big blinds, this is a great spot to bluff 7 big blinds with pocket deuces, pocket sixes, those kinds of hands, right? Potentially get him to fold because in his mind, 7 big blinds equals value. So that's another way to utilize that bet sizing potential against your opponents, depending on what they actually see go to showdown or what they don't see go to showdown. All right, thank you so much for watching the video. I'll catch you in the next one.